Good morning guys, FOH Rosso here with another video on GT Sport, and today is the day everyone has been waiting for. It is update 1.10 time, which brings GT League and a whole host of new content, cars, escapes, a few things in Brand Central as well. So lots and lots and lots to get through in this video, plus a couple of little surprises that I don't think anyone saw coming. So let's get into it and see what we can see. You'll have to excuse my voice today, guys. I have a cold, dreaded Christmas cold. So yeah, you'll have to excuse the fact that I'm going to be sniffling probably throughout the whole of the video. So we'll start where everyone wants me to start, what everyone's interested in, and that is GT League. A whole new mode introduced to GT Sport. It's kind of a homage to the old Gran Turismo, you know, of the past. You know, right the way from Gran Turismo 1 right the way up to Gran Turismo 6. The campaign modes were kind of structured like this. It's a more stripped back version of those, but some beautiful little nods to the old games. Even the music reminds me so much of Gran Turismo 3. The images for each cup are images basically lifted straight out of previous games with the same fonts, the same style of picture. It's really cool. It basically brings back all those great memories of playing Gran Turismo when you were a kid, or watching your dad, your mum, your uncle, whoever play Gran Turismo and give you your first experience of racing games. It brings back all those cool memories. So split into 4 different leagues: Beginner League, Amateur League, Professional League, and Endurance League, which is locked to begin with. I'd imagine you have to clear everything else before you get to that. The credit rewards look pretty good. I mean, for the Midship Challenge, you're looking at pretty much 150,000 credits per race. I don't know whether that's stackable. We'll find that out. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A decent amount of people to get their teeth into. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of content, but maybe this will be expanded upon as and when we get more tracks and things like that. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I've seen a lot of people, sometimes you can't please everyone. GT Sport is a kind of multiplayer focused game that really didn't sit well with a lot of Gran Turismo purists, but then when Polyphony said they were bringing out GT League, people said that was because the sport mode hadn't gone down well or whatever. But something as substantial as this can't be a reactionary decision. That has to be a decision made in development. So I think this was always coming, regardless of how well the sport mode did, and regardless of how well the multiplayer only kind of aspect went. So I don't really buy that argument, but more content's always nice for me. I don't think we should be complaining about that for sure. Obviously, a lot of new cars added today. A huge amount in Brand Central to get your teeth into. We've got some absolutely iconic Ferraris. The F40 being my personal favourite, probably supercar ever. The Enzos, the KTM Crossbow, Mazda RX-7, a whole host of Skylines. There's loads of stuff been added today. Like I said, we're not going to go into too much detail on those, as this is more of like a breakdown video, but I will do a showcase of the new vehicles in an upcoming video, probably just after Christmas at this point. New escapes, some seasonal kind of escapes in there, so you can take pictures of your cars in Christmas spec. I don't know whether it's this patch or the one before, but there's actually also Christmas music in this now as well, which is a nice little touch if you're into that kind of thing. We'll have a look at the actual patch notes themselves now, which is pretty cool because you can actually cycle through these menus now. I used to have this little top menu, so you had to wait for it to cycle around to get to actually what you wanted to look at. So we'll start with the update itself. So, very odd, these patch notes, because the main update 1.1, it basically just says, an update for Gran Turismo Sport has been released. The update fixes minor issues and increases general stability. Okay, so I was under the impression that this was the 1.1 update and that's where all the cars and things were coming in, but apparently that's 1.09. So yeah, this is all a bit weird. So yeah, we've alluded to the new cars already. Those are the 12 that have been added. So you've got the RX-7, 2 Skylines, the Ford F-150 SVT Raptor, the Lambo, Ferrari F40, Enzo Crossbow, Suzuki Swift, the VW Bus, Chevy Nova, and Stingray Convertible. So a pretty diverse range of stuff there. A lack of race cars, but I think, to be honest, race cars is where the game's strong anyway, so we can forgive that. This is a lot of throwbacks, a lot of content that people wanted, especially Skylines and the RX-7. They carry a huge kind of cult following within Gran Turismo, so really nice additions. The one thing that caught me hugely by surprise in today's update was the new layout for the Kyoto driving circuit. It's a mixture of the 2 existing tracks, Yamagiwa and Miyabi. Looks like quite a decent track. I mean, the 2 tracks themselves, you know, apart from each other, are pretty cool. So can't wait to tackle that one. It should be a pretty substantial lap as well. So quite fun, and it's already in today's daily race rotation as well. With the daily races and the tracks and things like that, it's always good to have a bit of diversity. So I can't argue with a new layout, even if it's not a new environment being added. The one thing I'd say, just as a quick aside from daily races, it seems like a lot of the content at the moment is recycled. I'd like to see a bit more Willow Springs, a bit more Tokyo, even though I don't really like the Tokyo circuits. We barely ever get to race on those kind of tracks. So yeah, we need a bit more diversity in the selection of daily races, I think. With the tracks and the cars, it's getting a bit stale at the moment. As I said before, new season's greetingscapes have been added. Not tried those out yet, not really a huge photography fan. New Lewis Hamilton content for you Lewis Hamilton fans out there. He's got a reference lap at the Nürburgring in his section of Brand Central, and a couple of new things in there for Bugatti and Chevy as well. Bit of a change to the FIA Championship, so the Nations Cup and the Manufacturers Cup. The top 24 superstars will now duke it out in a race at the end of each season. I'd imagine that's on, it says, will be held as the final round of each race season, so I don't know if that's the last kind of like track and car combo, or if it's going to be added on to that. I'm not entirely sure. But that's pretty cool. It's going to get the top 24 people in a lobby together, provided they're about, which is going to hopefully throw up some pretty decent racing. Other new settings under event settings, regulation settings in lobbies. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I don't really know too much about that, to be honest. Traction control while turning has been adjusted to allow smoother cornering. Something they've been constantly fiddling with that. The traction control settings. Again, as I said in my last patch breakdown video, not entirely sure how to feel about that one. I'm all for making the game accessible, but traction control is already easy enough to drive with. I don't think it needs making easier. Couple of controller tweaks. I've never played GT Sport on a controller, so not sure about how that will affect it, to be honest. A couple of different button mapping things, which is cool. Tyre screeching sounds have been adjusted, that's good. Tyre screech has always been really loud in GT games anyway, I feel like it's just kind of a thing now. Language support has been added to the Asian version, good. Just what I wanted. Various other issues have been addressed. Okay, so as I say, pretty substantial patch there. Lots of new content, which is great, just in time for Christmas. So plenty of hours to be sunk in GT Sport over the festive period for everybody. I mean, for me, the content is great, but the BOP is what I've been waiting for. My favourite class in this game is Group 4, and in the past 2 weeks I have not done a single Group 4 race. That's a lie, actually. I have done a single Group 4 race. It was last night, because I thought to myself, what kind of content can I make? What kind of stuff can I make for the channel that's a bit different to what other people are doing? So I decided to make a video on if you could win in Group 4 without using a Megane, Scirocco or TT. And it was the most soul-destroying experience of my short YouTube career. Those cars were so broken. that if you had someone even remotely on the same pace as you in those cars, you were going to get absolutely murdered. So I made a short video last night of me pottering around for a race at Nürburgring for 8 laps in a Corvette in 7th place, and it was not fun. So we put that one on the back burner, but I might release that just for a laugh in the next couple of weeks, just as like an RIP McGann video or something. Back to when it was horrendously OP. It was basically a field of me in a Corvette, about 16 people in a McGann, and an Audi TT going around in 3rd place. So yeah, it was very interesting. But these BOP changes are what I would describe as sweeping. There's so much to take from these, you know, stats. It's insane. Pretty much every car has been messed around with. The things that jump out to me is in Group 3, the Porsche 911 has had a nerf. It was probably the strongest car in the class. But then again, the GT Citroen was pretty strong as well. That's had a nerf, I believe. Yes, kind of. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot going on in there. It's going to hopefully shake up the GT3 kind of standings a bit. GT3 wasn't as much of an issue as Group 4 or Group 3. Sorry, it's hard to remember to refer to them as groups when you've followed motorsport forever and you're used to saying GT3, GT4. Yeah, this one is going to require a bit of testing because everything's changed, absolutely everything. So it's going to be difficult to see where everything kind of shakes out after these changes. What I've noticed though, just by having like a cursory glance over the notes, is that the majority of cars that have had a power increase have actually had a weight increase as well. So I don't know how that's gonna work. Obviously, the guys at Polyphony, Polyphony are better at maths than I am, so we'll trust them to have made a decent decision. Group 4, as I said, my favourite class in the game, and hopefully now it's going to be drivable, it's going to be raceable, without getting absolutely monstered by front-wheel drive cars. All 3 front-wheel drive cars have had a nerf. Pretty much everything else has had a buff. Just looking for the 2 strongest non-front-wheel drive cars, which were the Corvette C7 and the Viper, probably. Okay, so the Viper and the Chevy have both had changes. The Viper's had a power increase, slight power increase of 1%. The Corvette, weight reduction ratio 108 to 111. I think that's a nerf actually. So yeah, I still think they're going to be quite strong. Alpha 4C as well is probably going to be strong. It always is when things usually shake out. So yeah, I mean, the changes for Group 4 I can only see as positive. It wasn't a good place to race before. Group 4's had its issues since the start. You know, the GTR when it first came out was ridiculous. Then we went from the GTR to having a pretty even kind of group in a way. I mean, the Scirocco at that point was still pretty strong, but the 4C was strong enough as well. I think hopefully this is going to bring that diversity to a different level, because we all love. I mean, there's so many good cars in this class, and we're all going to have favourites. I mean, I would absolutely love it if I could drive the NSX or the BMW M4 in a race and be competitive, because I love those 2 cars. I love the style of them. I love the way they look. I love the NSX for its history. But at the minute, you kind of get, you know, priced out, I guess, is what I would say, of using them by the fact that everything else is just too strong. So hopefully this will address that, and we can start seeing a bit more diversity in both Group 3 and Group 4 lobbies. But yeah, the changes look positive. They're going to require a bit of testing to have a good look over, but they look good. and I'm quite happy with all of those. I think before we finish, so I think we've pretty much covered just about everything in the patch notes for this one. Just before we finish, we'll have a quick look at a couple of the cars in Brand Central, because I just want to have a quick shout out to everybody that has interacted with the channel over the past 4 months that I've been putting out content for GT Sport. The growth has been absolutely insane. So for you guys that have been with me since October, I started off with barely over 30 subs. We've almost tripled that at this point. We're growing super quickly. We've hit the 100 sub barrier that I wanted to hit by Christmas. So, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that's taken the time out to hit those sub buttons, like my videos, interact with me in the comments. It's been absolutely awesome, and really nice. To know that people are enjoying the content, people are enjoying the circuit experience videos that I've done, people are enjoying the daily races that I've done, so I've absolutely loved seeing the channel grow. If you have any suggestions, obviously I always want to improve. If you have any suggestions for content that you want to see, if you like a particular style of thing, if you don't like a particular style of thing, feel free to let me know what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. And I'll make that happen. But yeah, I just wanted to end the video basically with a thank you, to you guys, because you are, without you, the channel would basically not be watched. It would be just me talking to myself. So yeah, I'm really glad to have you all on board, and hopefully we'll grow again in 2018. There's going to be a steady stream of content coming. At that point, one more video probably before Christmas, which will be a race. Not decided whether that'll be Group 3 or Group 4 yet, but we'll probably use the new track if possible, just have a quick look at it. But yeah, for this video, guys, that is about that. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, and if you don't watch the next video, or if I don't see you before, have a fantastic and safe Christmas. Don't eat too much. By that I mean eat absolutely everything in sight and then go back for seconds. Enjoy. See you later.